Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers. Good morning to you. Well, it's morning for me. Just wanted to discuss why, and a chance for globe Earth defenders to say what's in it for them, what's in it for you to defend the globe, what we would call the globe Earth belief. So welcome to accept questions in chat, or people to type in what they think are the reasons, and we can see if we can go from there. I mean, we all know that it's called science. Okay, hi Jack. It's obviously flat. Yeah, and of course the response we always get is, well, it looks flat, so it must be flat, which is obviously considered, you know, a kind of mindless, unintelligent response, isn't it? But of course, we know that there are many reasons that it is flat because it looks flat. Oops, who have we got here? Hi, defund NASA because they cannot believe they would have been lied to on this scale. They must, and then we've got they must protect their deity, the globe. Yeah. So how has it become a religion? Yeah, I mean, really, you know, obviously good points that we all really know that they cannot believe they would have been lied to on such a grand scale. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't easy for any of us, right? I mean, we had to go through looking at and scrutinizing NASA videos and all that stuff. Hi, Christopher. I'm going to really try hard to try and notice everyone because chats. The Earth is scientifically flat and stationary. The heliocentric model is only worshipping the sun. The geocentric model is based on facts and on scientific evidence. Yeah, it is scientific, isn't it? Okay. Oh, so Defund NASA saying the sun has left me in Ohio and it's now there. Awesome. FPV Angel, hi. Yeah, it's quite high up already in the sky. Yeah, it is all focused on the sun, isn't it? And of course, yeah. And I believe that. Hello, Keith. Hi. I've got the chat on slow mode, okay? So you can only post every 30 seconds. Just keep that in mind. Otherwise, I see some great kind of interactions which I never often don't catch. So I'm just trying to make sure that you know. And who have we got here? Graham Dean. Sorry, I was on a tablet. My glasses are all steamed up and what have you. It's very hot here. Oh, okay. Chat running through. Just a minute. What's that, Aaron? Okay, Gracie Dane, hi. Aaron says, if I put a scale on the ceiling and push on it, what happens? Is that weight? Of course. Living Kung Fu, I think. Shaolin, hi. Stashman, hi. All right, good to see you. Good morning. And, oh dear me. Sorry, this is a bit difficult to see. It's the best way to get this. Vlad on Flat Earth, hi. Okay, Carolyn Gutman. Yeah, just the way I see it. Defund NASA says it was actually pretty easy for me to get Flat Earth because the heliocentric model never made sense to me. Yeah, same here. There were always those questions. And it was only the NASA thing that was, you know, that was the hurdle, wasn't it? You know, because it would appear that they had it all sussed out. And okay, you could still leave, you know, question things about the seasons and tilt and all these kinds of things. But yeah, I think that is the biggest hurdle. I mean, just imagine if they hadn't pretended to go to the moon, we maybe would be exploring the level plane that we're on right now. So what? Okay. FUCT use first, almost. Waterworld 360. G'day, mate. Hi. Okay, not weight pressure. Yeah. Defund NASA, not weight pressure. Yeah, and I think Keith Anthony says same here. And Seek and Find says, I never believed in the Big Bang. Yeah, right. I mean, obviously it's just I mean, and of course it's just part of the story. And that's what becomes the creation story, I think, isn't it? Because really, science, if they want to differentiate from religion, they wouldn't even go there. They wouldn't even be asking, how did it all begin? When's it going to end? Or, but I suppose there is that desire to think about where are we or when are we? But this is the thing, isn't it? You know, in this material world, science, there wants to be, we would like to have a scientific answer, but this is the question that bugs every single one of us, I think, regardless of our belief, whether we're an atheist or some kind of religion or agnostic, whatever. It's the burning question is, how did it all begin, and how and why am I here? And so, of course, we can all guess, we can all have theories, and we can all base base these ideas on our experience, I suppose. But if any perceived authority tries to give us those answers, then it's going to lead us down a path that prevents us from doing our own exploration, I think. Richard Duke, hi. Phuket Word, hi. Just make sure. Okay, hang on. FPV Angel. The only ones defending it are the paid trolls and the unwary. It's the unwary we need to help. Yeah, I agree. There are obviously there are trolls, and there are people who try to constantly bring you back. That's so obvious. But I'm really happy to spend time with people who are genuinely curious, and of course they're few and far between, but they do come, and I really feel it's worth trying to explain things. But obviously sometimes you get led into that trap where you spend time and energy explaining or trying to help them understand where we're coming from, and then you get this flip in the attitude. Well, and they just kind of they go back to just vehemently defending the globe. Gracie says, it takes a great deal of application to challenge and change belief systems. I think you're right. Yeah, absolutely it does. Or even to realize that you're stuck in a belief in the first place, I think is probably quite a challenge. And of course I think a lot of the time we just don't realize that. Yeah, Just Jack says, we are here to figure out why we are here. Yeah, really good. I like that. Yeah, because that is the puzzle, isn't it? That's kind of like the game, if you like. Why am I here? And then as long as you're asking that question, then you will internally, I think, arrive at some of those answers. So yeah, it does become, of course, yeah, when we're comparing, defending the globe, it is because it has that creation story and that raison d'etre attached to it. And of course, it's in some ways nice to think we have some superiority because we're at the pinnacle of our evolution, but at the same time say, well, we're not really responsible for being here because we're just a speck. So yeah, it does. That's the thing, isn't it? It goes. And I know people are saying it just brought some things to my mind. I think the direction I'd like to try to, or at least try to get people, especially the deniers, to understand is that, when they talk about a working model, then the thing is, there are you can interpret it any way you like. And what is a working model? It's simply telling the time from the Earth. When and where do certain things happen? It's just telling the time, and it can be illustrated in all manner of ways. But then, of course, when it comes to the helios, for example, the moon here, in fact, Thailand has like 3 or 4 different calendars because they've got the Chinese calendar, they've got their own calendar, the Buddhist calendar, and of course the Gregorian calendar, the Western calendar, and they use them all, but there isn't a further belief attached to any of those calendars or those timekeeping things, yeah? So they follow the lunar calendar, things happen on full moons and things like that, and it does have some spiritual significance, obviously. but it's also a perfect timekeeping mechanism anyway. Aaron says you are here because you are God. I'm just going to scroll back up the chats a minute because I've missed a few. Plain permaculture, hi. Zoo Scott, hi. Plain permaculture says they take use people's imagination to take them to the position no one ever experiences and implant a mental image. That way it never is challenged or mentally rewritten or reimagined. Yeah, good point, good point. You kind of, becomes set in your mind. What's that? Make our country great again. We are food for the locusts in the pit. FPV Angel says, check out their channel first. If zero content and sub to the usual trolls, just boot them out. Yeah. If their mission, I think, yeah. If someone's mission is to. Okay, we're back. You're still there. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. Yeah, it looks like it's still going. Is it still going? Can someone just let me know in the chat if it's if we're still going. Oh, nice one. Thank you, Keith. And okay, nice one. Okay, thank you. Lovely. Gosh, it's hot. Yeah, where were we? Let me just try and go back through the chats there. Okay, you're here because you're God. Love that comment. Defan NASA Scott. Okay. Yeah, paid trolls. Robbie Roblox. I researched the FE arguments in 2014 and had to admit to myself that since we can see too far and science never proved the curvature and NASA does is lie that the Earth cannot be a space ball. It's pretty simple, isn't it? Yeah, you're right. I mean, that should be the thing, isn't it? So it does come down to the belief in the end. But yeah, this is it. Why defend it so vehemently? Why is it so difficult for people to see that and get it? And I mean, I still question whether, I mean, you point these things out and do they see it or do they not see it? Do they not want to see it? Do they know what they're doing? Do they know that they're blagging themselves? I mean, because... Okay, hang on. Yeah, Vlad says, what we experience is a working model. Spinning ball is a non-working model. Yeah. I think I just wanted to emphasize that the globe model is a timekeeping piece. It's a way of keeping time for international trade and communication. And it works as far as telling the time. And I think, obviously, you need it. It helps. We have to, at some point, decide where we're going to start the clock and where it's going to end, and of course you have to have date lines and time zones and things like that. But yes, you're absolutely right. It doesn't fit reality. If for example, it's 1:30 in the afternoon in the UK and that's when the time that the sun is at its zenith, then of course it's, the time is out. So that's one thing that led me to really realize the globe is just this construct of time, because it's divided up into, I think it's 24 time zones, and everything's 12s, and then that gives you the circles, the geometry, etc. And of course it has its uses. I mean, it's going to get pretty ridiculous if every city you go to, you have to then change your watch to midday, depending on the time that the sun is at its zenith above that city. So, but that's it. So as a means of keeping track of time, and great, fine. But that's the thing, isn't it? Then we're told that it is our reality, that it's all spinning balls in space. If only we were told, this is how you can. This is one way to illustrate the passage of time. Okay, so, all right. Holding. Joe Manor, thank you very much. I really appreciate the encouragement there. And Algi's Rune, it's one thing not to show that Santa ain't real, it's another to insist. Aha, very good point. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Robbie, because we are programmed to defend it. Yeah, I suppose we are, aren't we? Or you naturally would because it's so ingrained. Zoo says, "Be the Jesus in you." Yeah. I mean, it is a personal mission, isn't it? That's what we're all on. We're all on a kind of journey, and it's great to be sharing it and kind of working out this kind of subjective, objective reality between us. Defund NASA says some people are too deep into it, they can't admit they could be so wrong. Some just believe the majority and don't know enough to know why the heliocentric model is. Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? Because, yeah, you're right. The usual reactions, go back to school, you don't know anything. And of course, they don't either. You ask them a few questions and it's absolutely totally obvious. They've never looked into it any further than what they're told on the TV or by Neil deGrasse Tyson or whatever. So, yeah, it becomes wearing, but we shall not be worn down. That's for sure. This is very, very important. I think just to have that discernment. Yeah. Robbie says they are running the brainwashing a program, and no, most people refuse to self-examine, and without that one cannot deal with their own internal dialogue. Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. It is that. I think one of the most difficult things to do is be alone with your own thoughts. It's really tough without having distractions, without the phone or the computer or something going on, or a conversation or something. Just to be alone with our own thoughts is actually quite frightening. And I know it's something I did in that mission for self-improvement. And of course, being here in Thailand, meditation, it's a thing that's normal. It's normal to see someone sit down with their eyes closed, so there's no stigma there. And so of course that helped get into it and see what it's all about. Yeah. And I used to have the same kind of, you don't need that. I've got my path. I'm fine. I don't need to meditate. I used to think like that, but when I started to meditate and do qigong and things like that, it's like, oh my God, this is as good as getting high, if not better. And you feel that connection. You feel the energy, and so yeah. Excuse me, I'm sweating wildly here. It's very hot. Where were we? Just Jack Flat Earth says it's so indoctrinated from mainstream media, school and religion. We're all established to keep us fighting for the published narrative. They think they are fighting for the truth by trusting all. Yeah. It'd be great not to fight. I would love to have discussions with all these globe defenders, these people doing hit pieces. I mean, that obviously shows that that's all they've got is this ridiculous schoolyard tactics. But I would love to have a decent conversation with these guys. I really would. But you can never get anywhere because they're coming from a point of view that they are defending a belief. And they make you can just see it. You can see them making the excuses and the deviations, and you can never nail down a particular thing. In fact, if there's any Globers watching, you do yourselves massive favors if you just admitted to some things that can be interpreted either way. If you just, rather than denying every single thing, you could just say, all right, okay, cool, we can't use that as proof. For example, the Eratosthenes experiment, or doing anything related to the sun. If you just admitted that, at the very least, looking at the sun and measuring things and angles and things like that is open to interpretation, then things would be a lot more amicable. But no, they hold up these things which are obviously have been used, that can go either way, that are no proof of anything, but hold them up as a single proof. So it's a real shame not to even get to that stage, because surely we could have much better discourse if there was compromise. Yeah. Right. Where are we? Fifi, the butterfly. Makes me feel safe and sane to see others that know the earth is flat. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, and as long as we're not swapping one belief for another. Again, models, to be honest, models don't matter. Maps don't matter. We can get around the world. We can tell the time. And the only difference is that we don't know, and nobody knows, how the stars works or the mechanics of it. And it's so funny when they talk about bending of space-time, two totally, supposedly intangible objects. Like, yeah, if you throw a stone into the water, it goes bloop, the water conforms and it does things, it sends ripples. But the thing is, if they're going to say that space is a zero density vacuum, well, you can't bend space no matter what mass you put in it, and you can't bend time. Now, that's ridiculous, because that is totally intangible. So it's so, I mean, to even hang on to that concept, bending space-time, and you know, ultimately the defender of the globe will ultimately admit that it is only a concept that is only connected to the model, not reality. But then you can't, again, there's no compromise. They stick to the model as their reality, which is asinine. It's obtuse, as I heard someone say once. FPV Angel, indeed, most just copy-paste stuff. They don't even know. Yeah, true. So, you know, I'd love to give these people the time of day that are really curious, and just so they can then go, you know, when we say do your own research, they can go off and do it. But then they just keep coming back and asking questions. And of course, I think a lot of the time it is just trolling. It's like, well, there's a limit to. I remember getting on a train early on in my days in Thailand, and I was going down to Malaysia, and the only seat was next to a monk. And you know what? It scared the bejesus out of me. Why? Because you get this impression, you think that, oh my God, this, you know, sitting next to this guy is gonna, I don't know, it's just like it's weird, you know, the monk in the robes and everything, and so I'm just feeling all weirded out. But it was a pivotal moment in life, because I was able to ask those questions, you know, things like, well, if you're you know, that typical thing where you brand people you tar people with the same brush, you know, if monks are supposed to be enlightened, why do they do this? Or why do I see a monk throwing a bottle out of the train window and not caring about the environment and things like that? And then he'd sit there and he'd think, he'd say, well, you know, we're all individual people, etc., etc. And he had an explanation for everything, every single question that I asked, from that kind of stubborn Western mentality that didn't understand Buddhism or Buddhist concepts, and thought I was going to kind of paint him into a corner. Well, not really, because that wasn't my intention, but I thought they would be questions that couldn't be answered. And he'd sit there and he'd think, and he would deliberate and answer the question, and it was just like there would just be a car. And it was great, because he spoke English. I didn't speak any Thai really at that time, and it was a pivotal moment, because then it was only then that I realised, after asking the questions and then listening to the answers that I didn't expect and would have never. Maybe would have worked out over time on my own, but this is just what comes from meditation or the Buddhist practices, whatever. So, yeah, I always reflect on that, and how that was one of those moments in time where you know, something happens, and it could be by design. It might have just been an accident, but it was certainly a major step on the journey, coming face to face with a monk, being almost forced into that situation where, okay, we're going to sit on this train for 20 hours together next to each other, we better have a conversation. Yeah, so yeah. Mallard, hi. FPV Angel says they have no probs, so point out the lights in the sky like imbeciles. Yeah. Spiley Max, Eratosthenes can work from 2 points on globe Earth and flat Earth. I can go that far, but it doesn't work for the 3 points on flat Earth. Now, Spiley Max, fair enough that you've been gracious enough to say that. Now, again, you have to go to, if you go to the 3 points, you think about this. If the Eratosthenes experiment wasn't done on the equator, then what? When you don't have a reference point that is no shadow or a shadow straight down, then what? And what you must realize, if you actually look, is that the sun only affects something when it strikes that object, yeah, and we see that evidence in the eclipses. It's fantastic when you, for example, the leaves here, each leaf has its own sun. However weird that sounds, this is the esoteric nature of the sun. Yeah, so while the tree itself is casting a shadow, each one of those leaves is casting a shadow because it has its own sun. And that's the thing. We're given this objective reality. And when it comes to these 3 points of the Eratosthenes experiment, again, it's all going to be open to interpretation, because obviously the further away you get, then the lower the sun is going to appear for you in the sky, just because of perspective. And it affects the shadows as well. And again, if you actually think about this, I need to illustrate this properly in a video, but if you're trying to say that parallel lines of light are hitting the entire Earth, think about this. Somewhere up north, for example, I'd just say, North America, Canada or something like that, the length of the shadows, well, you'll never, ever, ever get a shadow that's, straight down. And you'll, throughout the year, the length of those shadows will change. And of course, when it comes to the evening, or once you go past 45 degrees of light shining down onto the post, and then you've got the shadow, those shadows just go on and on and on and on and on. So the thing is, you can't measure the length of a shadow and equate it to an angle on the stick once it's gone past a certain amount of degrees. And the thing is, if you can do this, anyone can do this. Take a ball, take a flat surface, get some matchsticks or something like that, get a light and try all different ways. And the thing is, what you get is you always get the same results. But the problem occurs when you actually take a larger light, a light that's larger than the surface. For example, if you get a neon strip light, then what happens is you get shadows that are out of focus. So the very fact that we have shadows that are very clean lines of shadows in focus tells us that the sun is just like the light in your living room or whatever, that's beaming down like that. Yeah. Once you get a light that is actually bigger than the surface area, which the sun in the heliocentric model is supposed to be, you do not get clean shadows. Yeah, and I think again, this is another theory that of course we understand that you can if you've got a light here and you've got an object here, and then you put something in between that's casting a shadow on this object, as we're told with the moon, for example, then I think it's got to be tested. But having the shadow go out of focus is going to depend on the distance object between the two. I think there's a halfway point. So again, if we're being told that the shadow on a lunar eclipse is a shadow of the Earth on the moon, but it's out of focus, then there is something to do with the relative distance. But again, that's kind of, you're going off into an argument that you can't really verify. But I think it's important to consider the distances between things that the shadow goes in and out of focus. Yeah. So I've gone off on one, and there's loads of people adding their. So it's more important to be sharing what you guys have to offer. Sorry. Okay. All right, so I Spy Limax. I hope I've answered that question as far as Eratosthenes. It doesn't prove anything. You can't, just don't go there. There's no point in using shadows and sun as some kind of proof of anything. It's just because it's so esoteric. It's subjective and objective. So it's not going to prove anything to anyone ultimately, yeah? So 3 points, 4 points, 10 points, 100 points, doesn't matter. You're always going to get results that are inconclusive. So I wish they just wouldn't, if you could compromise there and say, right, this is it. It's a process of elimination, going through these so-called proofs. George says, hi Nick, sun and moon are really close. My P900 is clear proof. Yeah, I totally agree. I think, yeah. And there is absolutely no reason to think that they would be of differing distances. None at all. Well, duck, hi. John C. Oddity, east, west, northwest, east, south, south, etc. Right, yeah. Vlad says, if the sun is directly above me at noon, where is the sun at midnight on the spinning ball model? Did the ball turn upside down? Yeah, yeah. Robbie Roblox says, watching sunspots spinning in a circle like it is a coin alone disproves NASA's fireball spinning on its axis. Yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah. Mallard, the duck. Is it possible that the sun travels in a spirograph type pattern? Remember the spiral? It could well be, couldn't it? Yeah, and I think that happens from what I've seen people modeling stars and things like that, or the planets. Wow, they actually, when you just have it as a kind of geocentric or flat earth thing, the patterns they make are stunning. And of course, we see those repeated in water at different frequencies and things like that. So I think there's definitely a lot more to the stars. Excuse me, they do they do have a lot of meaning. Hang on, just going back through the chats again. John C. W. never push the FE. Okay. FPV Angel, they all have epicycle motions. Yeah. Again, I do recommend you go and look at FPV Angel's channel to just see the pattern and see how it works. I mean, you got a working model there, as far as I'm concerned. Gaia's pupil. Nice, that handle. Here's the deal. They say sun is 93 million miles away, yet a tiny cloud passes by you and you feel the tiny fluctuation in temp. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, same with the sun, isn't it? You know, it's all local. It's all local light. Nothing happens until the cloud or whatever is struck by the light. So the simple fact that you know, any one of us could look up at the moon or the sun and see, but the moon is kind of, it gives you it's easier to kind of make a point with this one. But if the local clouds are being lit for you and someone else 1,000 miles away is seeing the local clouds lit by them, this simply tells us straight off that the sun and the moon are luminaries, lights that we are possibly never going to truly understand, or we won't understand while we just consider them as some kind of objective object. We have to realize that to me, it tells us that this whole thing is intelligently designed, and the message that the stars and the sun and the moon give us is that it is subjective and objective at the same time. We have to marry the two, the yin yang, all that stuff, and when you get that, there is more clarification, and there's a realization that to try to determine a de facto model is futile. We've got to understand that, you know, you can have this, that, and the other model and tell the time, and that's it, because any answers about creation, where it started, where it ends, where it's going, traveling through space, and no, yeah, because we're the ones having the journey. And of course, I think, yeah, the whole NASA thing, all that, it's focused on the destination, and that seems to be how we spend most of our lives, isn't it? We start the journey, right, I'm going to get there, and we kind of ignore, or we get frustrated about the things that happen on the way. It's like, no, I've got to be there at this time, I've got to get there. And of course, what's actually happening is you've ended up getting into a situation that is supposed to happen in your life. Yeah, it's meeting your soulmate, or you know, having an accident. Another story I remember hearing from a foreigner who'd spent time in one of the monasteries here in Thailand. You know, he got some kind of illness. I think he had an accident or something. He's in hospital, and he was complaining to the head monk. The head monk had gone to see him in hospital. The guy's lying on the bed in pain. He said, "It's not supposed to be like this," because he'd come over to do the whole meditation thing, and the monk just basically got really pissed off with him and said, "Of course it is. Of course it's supposed to be this way." And you know, that was one of those things that was part of his journey. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Yeah. So right. Spylie Max, I don't sell the globe, I let you sell and expand on your own perspective. Fair enough. You know, again, you know, I do ban people, but only idiots. If people are open to discourse, that's great. And Yeah. Just Jack, I'm glad there are now mysteries to explore. I was never satisfied with most scientists' explanations. I always asking, how do they know? I know they are. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hi, Harry Bird. Hi, how you doing, man? Good. Gaia's people. I caught the last lunar eclipse on the Nikon. Oh, nice one. Did you draw any conclusions from it? Is it something that we should and could do? Robbie Roblox, or give up using this fictitious character as proof of anything except your gullibility. Okay, I'm not sure if you're talking to me or someone else. Harry Bird, are the heavenly bodies real or apparent? Again, maybe the point is to realize that we can never know, and once we accept and submit and surrender to that, then things do become a lot easier. But it's not a case of accepting that we could never know, or that we are, it's beyond us. But I think it's certainly therapeutic to accept that we've been given answers that are only designed to fit the model. Robbie, anyone using Eratosthenes and the two-stick story is proof of a ball Earth is a person who just believes stories. Yeah, that's right. John C says, living on a ball, nowhere to go, only up into space. Yeah. Again, so it's that distraction. Yeah, Jack, just flat Earth, moon and sun do not appear to be physical. Now understood due to many observations. Yeah. Gaia's people, gotta love that. White moon with the blue background in the day. Yeah, blue. Yeah. Again, it's just one of those things that if you think about it, it's doesn't. Yeah. Robbie says, we cannot see light, we can only see the effects of the energy interacting with something in the physical realm. Yeah, that's right. You can't see the light in the sky, can we? So John C, keeping us believing the greatest hoax off mankind. Yeah. Waterworld, how did Eratosthenes measure the distance to the sun? Well, he didn't, did he? Actually, what they say he did was measure the circumference of the Earth. And basically, okay, so he basically worked out the circumference of the path of the sun, either way. The whole, and then it was, of course, Venus transit and stuff. Again, all based on assumptions. I Spy says we would have to agree to talk about the content of the books. Gracie says, the real problem is proving a working FE model. The latest video from Don't Sphere the Truth, they seem to be onto a feasible working FE model which is based on magnetic dielectric field. Great, and that does make sense. Positive, negative attract for whatever reasons they do, and so everything goes off that. It's just this plus minus, positive, negative, 0, 1. It's all binary code, if you want to call it. I'm not talking about simulation theory, but I'm basically saying that what the building blocks are those two opposing things, and then of course everything in between happens. It's, I mean, if they wanted to talk about gravity, if they actually used if they went for this kind of electromagnetism thing, they would actually be a lot better off, because then we could kind of do something about it in real life. But no, they have made their bed, and now they are lying in it, a bed of theories. Malad the Duck, didn't Eratosthenes use obelisks? Yeah, possibly. Yeah, a stick obelisk. I'm not too sure, to be honest. It doesn't really matter. The guy guessed the sun's distance, says FPV Angel. Yeah. All right. Who's that? Irv. I can't say your name. Irvgen. URVGen. Hi, Harry Bird. Harry Bird said Bird. Yeah. The reason the globus hit us so hard is because they see heavenly bodies as tangible and real. But can they prove that to be so? Yeah, totally agree. It has to be in the model. They, just to have that, make that connection of mass falling on Earth, they had to say that, that means that if we're gonna be gods of physics, then we have to say that the bodies are mass, and they are also falling through space, and we can extrapolate from that. And the Earth is one of those bodies falling through space as well. Totally ridiculous. They know it's ridiculous, and the real scientists or the astrophysicists will admit that the model is based on that. Bodies of mass that falling through space endlessly, and that's the premise of the entire model. And they admit that it could change if we found out something new. Yeah, Robbie says, deal with the fact that we can see too far. That's it, yeah. That alone eliminates the possibility of the Earth being a ball. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? You know, I'm sure for all of us it still took time to, okay, that's pointed out, and then you still have to go and you have to digest that and go through the whole process. FPV, Mallard says, okay, expanding and contracting, spirograph. Yeah, these are patterns that we see in life. All over, everywhere, vortexes, everywhere, you know, in war. Even, you know, I remember trying to point out to Wolfie one time, you know, because he likes to use his the Coriolis force creates the different weather patterns on either side of the equator. I said, Wolfie, when you fly your plane, then you'll come down and you'll get on the either side of the wing, you'll get these vortices, yeah. So just consider the sun and the moon as going over the equator and creating these vortices either side of them, and they'll go in opposite directions, just like when you disturb the air with the wing of a plane as it goes through. I mean, this is physics, just simple physics, and he just fobbed it off, you know, usual shit. Gaia's pupil says, me and my lady sat on the beach one night, watched a star leave its constellation, make us a... No, really? You saw that? Oh yeah, I swear I've seen something similar happen. You do a double take, and it's like, hang on, yeah, wow, nice one, good. That must have chilled you to the bone to see that. And that, yeah, and then just go, okay, all right, there's stuff going on up there that we can't, yeah. Just Jack Flat says, okay, you're having a conversation with I Spy. That's all right. Waterworld, the complete lack of understanding about the physics of light and optics by the globe crowd is enough to... Yeah, again, they make up stuff. We can't understand light. It's not travelling in parallel lines. And the simple fact that a shadow will go out of focus means that the light actually envelopes... It, you know, it goes past the object and then it comes back in on itself. So it's not doing parallel lines. It's an all-encompassing thing. Yeah, so it's so esoteric in its nature, and it's just like electricity, isn't it? You know, taking the shortest route, knowing the shortest route of a connection on a circuit board without first going down the long route. It's like it's so you know, it's so weird. It's like the connection's always there. What is the firmament? No idea, but there has to be something there. Yeah, no. An FPV Angel says no data on firmament or dome, so best left out until... Yeah, that is it. Scientific exploration. No point in making assumptions. And you know what I was thinking about the scientific model. This is they use the obfuscation of the language in the scientific model. Scientific method, because all they have to do is have an idea about how it might work, make some measurements that are repeatable to confirm the hypothesis. So when they know that they can drop something and it takes 9.8 and it accelerates at 9.8 meters per second, in the language of the scientific method, they have proven their theory or hypothesis, forgetting that what they have to prove is that either the mass of the Earth is spherical and it has a certain mass and that's what's causing the pull, which doesn't exist, or the bending of space-time as it's now been put across, yeah? But that's the thing, that's why they it's like the scientific method is a get out of jail free card, because they say, I'm doing science, I can predict that the sun will come up at this time and set at that time, therefore I've made a prediction based on my hypothesis that it's all driven by gravity. And of course they just use mass, mass becomes the driving force, rather than something like electromagnetism and all these other things, frequencies that are prevalent in our real world. They end up saying, no, mass is the driving force because it's falling. And it's the falling mass that creates the energy that drives the universe. It's just nuts. It's just so detached from reality. It's pathetic. Right, sorry, going off on one there, but I got triggered. Robbie, I've never understood perspective as a good artist does from drawing or painting until I researched the flat earth topic. I think most people are the same. Oh, that's an interesting point. Okay. To be honest, yeah, I suppose, yeah. Okay, that's interesting to know, because it's difficult to know what different people see, whether they can see it in the same way. Just when I was a kid, I was always drawing cubes and trying to create 3D drawings. It's just one of those things I did. So I was always on my mind. Perspective. It was always something I studied by myself. So when Eric DeBay pointed out in his interview that the horizon's always at eye level, that was it. Just boom, did it for me. And so yeah, I spent the past 5 years trying to explain this to Globies. What we got? JJBJ. Hi Nick. Hi JJ. If it's possible, what do you think about tracking the sun moon with the help from subscribers from around the world on a live? Well, it has been done. Obviously, I don't think the videos exist anymore. It was done when Antonio Subrats had his channel, and we did do it. There was a few of us that did it twice, and so Antonio's map is a lot of that is based on the observations that many of us around the plane made over a good 48 hours or so, at least twice. So it's been done. Guy's pupil says sun, moon, 0 point in atmosphere. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but does it just kind of mean you just can't tell the distance? Okay, hang on. I Spy Lee is saying to defund NASA. I've asked Nick on 2 occasions to give his take on Himawari and speculates it's ordinary weather satellites sending detailed, accurate photos every 10 minutes. Okay, is it plausible? Okay, again, often people use the Himawari satellite as some kind of proof. Basically, we're given CGI images, which are a collation of data from weather radar. If you research this, you can actually find this out, but it also makes total sense, yeah? Just as they did on the news reports from years ago, all they're doing when they're putting the clouds on the screen and things like that on the green screen behind them is it's weather data from the weather radar that's been translated. So of course, in the age of the internet, just like the financial system, I mean, these computers and servers, they make decisions in nanoseconds. So to have a new image of the weather on one side of the earth, as it were, every 10 minutes is nothing for these computers to come up with. All they got to do is collect the data from the weather satellites, not weather radar around the world, and create this CG image. But of course, what's missing? In fact, someone pointed out a photograph today that Voyager apparently took of the solar system, the Voyager spacecraft. And so it's got, Jupiter, Mars and all that. And it's like, well, where are the stars? Where are the stars? You can't just take pictures of planets and not have stars in the background. Same with the Himawari satellite. You do not see lightning, which is happening all over the world all the time on the Himawari satellite. It's just data. And of course, when it goes dark, you don't see anything else. It's just And even if you look into Hubble and Sophia and what's the other? You just look into it. Just go look up Hubble, Boeing 747 or whatever. Just go and look it up, and the information is there. Cassandra, Sophia, Hubble, they're all connected. They basically put telescopes on high altitude aircraft, take some pictures, and send them back down again, and they say Hubble's in space, and it's not. I mean, there's what's it called, Planeta Veritas, excellent channel. He's actually made phone calls to the Hubble director and questioned him, and it turns out this guy's working as a manager for the Hubble team for 20 plus years, and he's never seen Hubble in his life. He's never seen the thing, never had eyes on it, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's all, you've just got to be honest, sometimes you've got to think like a criminal. You know, it's just like the guy playing the 3-card trick on the street. You know there's a trick to it. Or the magician, you know you're being deceived. You know it's not some kind of special thing. It's they've misled you, and or done something that in preparation that you didn't think about. So all you have to do is think like that. How could you pull it off if you were going to? And then you'll get there. You'll get the answers. Jimbo says, stick in the mud, proof. Okay, not sure what that was. Is it talking about sticks in the mud? Sticking, yeah, Jimbo, shadow science. Yeah. Right, okay. John, people need to ask, how do we see light at all? It's just a signal transmitted to our brain via the eye. Light, it's completely dark where our brain is located. Oh, good point, man. Yeah. Obviously there's the thing with the heat as well, which is undeniable. John wow, I'm not sure how you say that. Hi, Nick John Wow from Northampton, England. I've never felt so awake knowing the earth is flat whilst everybody else is. I know. Welcome to the club. It is like it's a renewed exploration, isn't it? That's the thing, and that, I'm sure that's all that we want to do when we talk about it to other people. It's like, come on, just come and have a look over here. We're exploring. There's a whole new paradigm to look at, and unfortunately they'll knock you down and squash you, and they don't want to know. But great that you're feeling that, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? That's the thing. Yeah, Bendy Water says Harry Bird. Good morning from Dublin. Hi, Christopher Kane. Must be early hours in the morning for you there. Desert. What's that? Diagnostics. It's a mirage. Okay. Vergis. Hi. Did you already know why things fall down and not up? Because is low density in both ways. Oh dear. Because, you know, you're dealing with a medium, yeah? Up and down is not going to be anything that really defines, you know, it has to be, doesn't it? It has to be. We're of the earth. We are dense in the air. We are not dense in the water, yeah? And the thing is, it's just that, you know, there has to be. And if all you got to do is, and people use the vomit comet as a kind of thing, well, you know, density all just doesn't line up if you're dropping in the vomit comet. Well, okay, you take that speed or that rate of acceleration and apply it to the globe. And the globe is supposed to be spinning and orbiting the Earth at a much greater rate of acceleration than the vomit comet drops. So actually, if the Earth was moving in that way, then there would not be any stability on the Earth. Yeah, the whole idea of the speeds and everything like that is just simply because of the decision to have the Earth going around the sun, and it has to be because of the timekeeping. They have to say the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, because of the time that it takes for a day to pass. But I think it's very important to disassociate. You know, each luminary is doing its own thing rather than trying to just see it as the Earth moving. Just, you know, a great example is the moon, isn't it? You know, they in the globe model, okay, you have to assume that the moon is doing an orbit once a month, but in reality it's passing overhead once a day. It's going at a constant rate while the sun is doing its own thing and going, you know, lapping the moon. And this is something that you can just see happening, and you can make these predictions. So I really gets my goat when people say the heliocentric model is the best one we've got, and that's the only way you can make predictions. No, sorry, the predictions are made, and then the heliocentric model was built off those predictions. So it's really annoying when people come at you with that kind of comment, because they have been wrongly educated. Uh, Waterworld, there is a great video of a plate in a swimming pool that creates vortices. Yeah, great. Yeah, and that's it. You know, you just apply that to the air and all that stuff, and yeah, there you've got your hurricanes on either side of the equator and all that. It's like, again, practical examples. They're all there for us to see. It's so annoying when that doesn't register with people, and they attach some imaginary, scenario. Drives me nuts. John C. Oddity says one man made free energy. Yeah, I'm sure it's in the air. It's all there, isn't it? It's just right there. The energy is right there. Jimbo says barrier is a better word. I presume you're talking about the firmament. Dan mentioned the firmament is structured water. Oh, it certainly seems to be liquid of some sort. In the realm of physics, it could be liquid gas, like liquid helium, hydrogen, or whatever. I don't know. But if it all gets colder up there, you eventually get liquid, and that would separate. You could do that in a jar. You could actually separate. You could actually have your layer of air between solids and gases or liquids and stuff. You could actually create that in a jar. I'd love to do it just to kind of prove a point, but obviously it's not the easiest thing to do. But it's possible. Darren. Desert Diagnostics says the closer you get to the globe, you realise it's a mirage. Yeah. Planet Jupiter. Hey, I'm looking at Earth right now. Really? Okay. How is this stream getting all the way to you out there in Jupiter? Mallard, the Dark Nikola Tesla was the greatest inventor of the 20th century. Yeah, there's so much we don't know about that guy, but he was obviously compromised. And again, it's Edison getting the whole thing is obviously just a great example of how the elites will win at the end of the day. Money talks. Yeah. Defund Matters. Okay, you're talking amongst yourselves. What's this? Gaia's pupil. Nick, I've made this channel for outdoors. No, not surprised if you haven't seen it, but I think you and me could put some fun stuff together. I mentioned on my Memorial Day video that I'm going to switch. Okay, I'll check your channel out, and we'll maybe collaborate on something. Let's see how it goes. Dan mentioned the reason they can't penetrate it is because they can't hit the same spot twice. The firmament is rotating. All right. Well, I suppose. I mean, yeah, something's moving up there, and I mean, it makes For if you just sprinkle things in the sink and let the water go down, then of course they will spiral. So, yeah, it's much more logical and makes sense in terms of physics to have something that's gelling it all together and is between the stars or the planets, whatever they are. Yeah. Robbie says, look up the growing mass of infrared photography showing clearly. Yeah, absolutely. It just totally debunks the globe. Kansas City online. Hi, hello from Kansas City. Just survived 4 tornadoes. Oh my God, 4 tornadoes. One traveled 105 miles and it was 1 mile wide. Should be on the news. Wow. Okay. Well, nice one. You survived. Yeah. But it's a great example of energy. Those vortices. That's how energy does it, and that's what you get with the Cavendish experiment, with pendulums and things like that. If you're preventing it from going down, it's going to want to spiral. It's just simple. Okay, Maladuck says, I love the live chats. Okay, great. No, it's really great to be sharing. I think, yeah, hopefully we're all getting inspired by, for example, the tornado thing there, or someone saying they've seen a star move when they're sitting, and it's like, wow, these are all experiences that we can add to the pool and build on and share, because I think that is, of course, I'm sure it was very similar for a lot of us where, like someone said earlier on, you never quite gelled. It didn't. The heliocentric model never really did anything for you. You knew there was something wrong, and of course, it's not until the other people saying, hey, they feel the same way, that it kind of increases the confidence to come out and discuss it. But otherwise, you just end up keeping it to yourself, don't you? It's like it's like being in a hall, and the lecturer says, any questions? And you've got all these questions, but you don't want to sound like an idiot. And so it's the same, isn't it? So so this is why it's important to share. It's kind of why I do this, because the thing that really inspires me is when I get a message that says, they're on they're having that buzz, they're feeling alive again, and there's a purpose, there's a direction, there's something to explore. And to me, that's just like, okay, someone's been given the keys to freedom, and they've gone and turned the key in the lock, and they're out, they're free, and that's it, job done. That for me, that's my buzz. Yeah. Brandon. Okay. All right. Hugin. Oh, I've got some Thai in there. My reading Thai on this tiny screen is not very difficult. So I'll have a look at that one. Oh, that's very nice of you to write that in Thai, though. Maybe if my wife was available, I'd get her to have a look. She's got better eyesight than me. This is just a tiny screen. And yeah. Sorry, just... Okay, so I'm just going through the chat again. Oh, Robbie. Oh, 4 years? Wow, well, okay. Thanks for sticking it out. Thanks for sharing the journey. Kansas City, nice. Yeah, I like to travel. Okay. Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah, do some more rants. Right, driving rants. Supertramp. What about Venus transit? Oh dear. Okay. It would not happen on the flat Earth. No, you can't say it would not happen on the flat Earth. The Venus transit. It's understandable why you can't have a globe and the sun going around the globe when you consider that the planets are going around the sun. Understandable why that model doesn't work, but the flat Earth with the sun and all the planets doing their thing, it all works fine. And something like retrograde motion of Mars, etc. Again, who made the laws of the universe? Newton? No, he wrote laws for people. And his job was to standardize everything. That's what they've been doing. That's what the heliocentric model is. It's a standardization of time, as I said when we started this thing. So it all just becomes circles. If you look at it from a different perspective, these luminaries are doing all sorts of wonderful patterns that, again, we can see repeated in nature, in the frequencies, resonance frequencies. Yeah, you see them on the old churches. You see them in water. You see them in the bowls when they do the whatever. So these patterns are there in nature and they're in the stars. To just say that everything's doing circles is simply because they wanted to make a dumbed down model for timekeeping. 360 degrees, just like a clock, divide it all up into 12, hence the 24 time zones, etc., blah blah blah, and so it goes on. As I was saying right at the beginning, it's a timekeeping piece for global timekeeping, global trade. But that's it. There doesn't have to be any other attachment to it apart from that. Yeah. To try and dictate what the laws of the universe are is ridiculous, because the universe has its own laws, and for us to just translate it as circles is foolish. John Miller, can we map the stars as an overlay to our flat plane? Yeah, I mean, go and have a look at Aaron Dover's astrolabe, or just go and have a look at astrolabes. They've done it. They did it thousands of years ago. So again, to try to determine the shape and the dimensions of the Earth by looking up at the stars is futile, because they are doing their own thing. We could be a puddle, it could just be a patch, who knows? But this is, of course, what the way of thinking we get from the globe model, isn't it? You know, they've defined the globe by looking at the sun and the moon and all that, and of course that's why they always refer to the sun and the moon and stars as proofs of the globe, rather than actually looking at the shape and the dimensions of the earth. And just like the latitude and longitude lines, or the equatorial lines, or the borders of countries on a map, they're all imaginary lines. They could be anywhere. But if you're going to create a model, you have to have a start and an end point. But the whole thing is, there isn't a start and an end to the cycle of the luminaries, is there? It's just eternity. It's just so, you know, that's the consequence of this material world that they've tried to create from the heliocentric model and Gregorian calendar. So again, you know, any model is possible. You say, oh, the sun's at the center, the earth's at the center, the moon's at the center. You can illustrate it in any way. So you've got to get away from the idea that by looking up is going to prove anything. It doesn't. Yeah, you've got to explore. Right. Okay. Space is cartoons. Yeah. Okay, Kansas. Okay, all right. There's a lot. Great that you guys are all conversing on your own as well. There are no. Okay, Dan Dimensions that says there are no flat spots on a sphere. There are many flat areas on Earth. Ergo, Earth is not a sphere. Yeah, cool. Baron, hi. Yeah, what do you mean 24/7 live cast? Okay, I suppose you're talking about NASA. Sophia is Hubble. That's the one. Yes, Sophia is Hubble. Yeah. Brandon Jerome. That is a wild idea. Okay, I'm not sure what that's about. Mobile Mac. Yeah, what was that? Cassandra, Sophia, and Hubble. Yeah, so they're all the same thing. They're telescopes that are hoisted onto a 747, and they're off there, or a 777, whatever. They go up there, take pictures of space or the stars or whatever, and then that's what they're told is Hubble. Hubble doesn't exist as a satellite floating in space. Okay. Okay, yeah, can't link it. Okay, maybe, sorry, if you're posting links into the chat, they probably won't come up, and I can't do anything about that here now on this tablet. So sorry about that. Just go to, if you're going to go to someone's channel, just go to their channel. Mallard says NASA's budget could feed a lot of hungry people, but at least we got tango and freeze-dried ice cream. Yeah. But the thing is, yeah, we don't need budgets, really. We need compassion, and we need a genuine society that is more focused on being in the now rather than focusing on the future. And that's the thing, isn't it? You know, a lot of atheists and all these supporters of NASA, etc., they're all probably nice people. And I suppose the thing is, they're the kind of nice people that cannot imagine that other people would be so deceptive. And so they're kind of starting from a losing standpoint there, because they just can't see that, you know, the deception and the psychos on this earth. Angel Raven 444 says, pull at your eyelids tonight while in bed in the dark and try it. Okay, whatever that is, I will try that. Rob Jones says, Phuket Word, can you name anybody involved in the cover-up? Who do you believe these people are? Yeah, it's just like I said. It's just obviously the heroes that we are given, but even, you know, who knows what people like Galileo, you know, we all know the stories of Galileo being persecuted by the church and all that stuff, but how true is that story? You know, so I do not even bother to hazard a guess. The thing is, all I know is that we people, humans, are the biggest deceivers of ourselves. We can be so easily led by our egos. So, you know, when once someone who would like to have control sees that and understands that, they know how to get people thinking in a certain way or reacting in a certain way. But we do it to ourselves. So the most important thing, rather than pointing the finger, there's no point in pointing the finger at any one person. That's because that's the blame game. You got to blame yourself and spot yourself and notice yourself that, you know, oh, I was deceived there, or I was misled there. It's like the guy, again, you know, the guy on the street corner with the 3-card trick, you know. If you want to go in there and think that you can beat the guy, then up to you. But he's already got it sussed. You know, he's on the street corner playing because he's going to take your money. That's his job. That's what he does. And of course, he's got people working with him, you know. So it's the same with any other scam all over the world. People are in on it for their own gain. And they understand that people are gullible. But it's up to us to see. You can't go and like tell the guy off. It's like, you know, that the guy who's doing the card trick on the street corner. It's like, all you got to do is realize that, say to yourself, well, I'm not going to fall for that. Leave them to it, and look at those gullible fools falling for it. Yeah, it's just, I mean, that's life. These, you know, and it's just like a crowd of wieldy beast, and the lion is going to pick out the weakest one. It's going to eat its lunch. So there are predators there watching all the time. It's always going to be something that happens. We have to be aware of that. So we have to, you know, we can help each other out, but ultimately it's down to the individual to make sure that they stay safe and they don't put themselves in a position of compromise. Brendan says, coffee cup, caustic, light around the world. Oh, yeah, okay. Planet Jupiter, if you're dense in air, why not full side? Why not? Because, yes, when you put something in a container, if you put water in a container and you put something dense in the water, what happens? It can't go sideways, can it? There is only up and down, so it can't expand sideways. If you fill this up with water and then you put something, you put an egg in it or whatever it is, yeah, what's going to happen? You get displacement through the relative density, but the water can't expand outwards. You can't squeeze water. You can squeeze air, but you can't squeeze water. So what happens? It goes up and down. So this is proof that we're in a bloody container. It's so simple. Carolyn Gutman, wait, did he just say that the gravity acceleration formula is dependent upon the globe model? Is that true? No, I'm not sure who said that. I said no. If that's the understanding, no. What they do is they say that because we can predict the rate of acceleration, that then fits the hypothesis that mass creates gravity, or gravity or weight is created by gravity, which is created by the bending of space-time. They just have this hypothesis, and the simple fact that we can perform these repeatable measurements allows them to say, see, I've proven my hypothesis with repeatable measurements. It's all a load of bollocks. Okay, wow, trying hard to catch up with the chat here. Rob Jones, Phuket word, do you believe everybody is lying to you in your personal life? No, we lie to ourselves. That's it. That's all you have to understand. We lie to ourselves. People lie to each other on a daily basis, a moment by moment basis, and that's it. That's all there is to it. You have to be able to spot the lies in all walks of life, in any situation, but especially a corporation. I talked about it the other day. You know, corporations lie because they package things to make you want to buy them, and you can either go for the lie because you think it fits your desires or your persona or who you want to be, or you can say, no thanks, I don't need that. And the examples are in real life all over the place. People lie. People learn to lie from a very early age for all sorts of reasons. As long as we can accept that we do it to ourselves, or internally we have this internal process, the ego lies to the rest of us to say, I want this, go out and do it, you know, or I'm offended by that, protect yourself, fight or flight. This is the ego, yeah? And so you have to recognize that this conflict goes on inside of us, each and every one of us, all the time. All the time, every single moment, every utterance, every thought is governed by the ego, unless you get to train it and stop it. And, you know, just like stopping a dog before it's going to pee on the carpet, you recognize the signs and you say, no, over here, go and pee over here. Yeah, but we just have to see this going on in ourselves. And someone pointed out earlier on, that's the last thing we'll do, is to actually look and question ourselves. Sorry, let's be priest cool. Are you safe? Not sure what that means. Okay, just looking through the chat again. Lone Zen, hi. Lone Zen Warrior. Anything in the sky is an unknown and irrelevant to what we can see with practical reason and common sense on the plane. Absolutely. Well said. That's it. Again, we can tell the time by the luminaries, and that's it. There's no point in trying to work out how they work or why they were there, or how they got there in the first place. Nobody knows. That's it. Great. That's it. You just, and then you're back down to earth, and then you can get on with life. Yeah. FPV Angel, when you fail to prove the globe, point at light in the sky and hope it scares them away. Yeah. Okay. Super Tramp. I do think Flat Earth has some good points, but the oh my God. 24-hour sun. No, if you're going to rely on this idea of the sun, again, I said this right at the beginning, the very fact that you get these long shadows and they change throughout the seasons tells us that we do not live on a globe that is being struck by a massive sunlight coming to us in parallel lines. Done. Debunked. Get on. So get off your soapbox about the 24-hour midnight sun. Load of bollocks. Again, you can't tell anything by looking at the sun. Get over it. Rob Jones, Phuket word, believe the disposition of a huge part of humanity is to lie for no coherent motive. Nobody can ever name who these people are. Yes, exactly. Again, we're wasting time and energy trying to, just like 9/11. Yeah? We know it wasn't a man in a cave. We know it was done for very specific reasons, or many different reasons. It doesn't matter. You could. I spent months and months trying to look into that. And of course, we know that a crime has been committed, or that it's been done for a reason. But and they don't care. They know that they're never going to find out. You're never going to be able to point the finger. So it's pointless. It's futile. It happened. They did it for a reason. Stepping stone for the invasions and all that stuff, etc. Whatever. Again, it's just that it becomes. All you know is that it still becomes an event that they refer to, that everyone knows, and that's why you have to take your shoes off when you go to the airport, and your belt and all that stuff. It's just it boxing us in more and more and more. That's all. Yeah. So, but the who? Predators. Right. Angela Raven triple four says tornado spins one way, typhoon another. Is that true? I didn't know that. Interesting point. Tornado spins one way, typhoon. Oh my God, I'm sweating my nuts off here. It's really hot. I've got no fan or anything. Usually got a fan. Okay. All right. Okay. It's been an hour and 20, and we're getting. My battery's getting low now. So let's just try and scroll through these chats. If social media was spirit of the I can't read that, spirit of something. If social media was available in Newsday, he would have been laughed out of town. Yeah. Elliot, the 10 people in the TechAgs forum don't understand the horizon rises to eye level. Yeah. Robbie Roblox, they truly do not realize their own cognitive dissonance is what they need to deal with, and that is all internal. Rob Jones is in super denial. Yeah. John Wall again. I'm going to debunk Wolfie video later. He did on the 500G weight experiment. Okay, where he said 500G weighed differently when up from Australia above the. Oh yeah. It was just a total setup, that one. Yeah. I think. No, I'll let you. I've got my own ideas about how he did it, but okay, you go ahead. Yeah. Gaia's pupil. I doubt critical thinking means cult. Good luck with that, though. Okay. Gamer Tamer says, how can some globers say the center of the universe is all around us and can be seen from anywhere on a sphere Earth? That sounds ridiculous. Yeah. Okay. All right. So listen, before we just get cut off, because otherwise the stream just carries on forever until I can get back to it. I'm gonna have to say cheerio and sawadee cup and all that. So, oh man, there's so many chats here. I'm really sorry. Oh my goodness, so far behind there. But I'm not going to be able to catch up with them on this stream. So I think, yeah, I just as I said, yeah. Thank you for everyone coming along, sharing this, and hopefully we are making a difference to the people that want to explore what this is all about. It's an internal journey and an external journey. Yeah, we're looking at ourselves, our own psychology, our minds, our bodies, our spirits. We're looking at how that all works inside us, and we are looking, and hopefully we're going to explore the external realm as well. I think that's basically what we aim to do, and it's not until we get it into our heads that how little we know and how much we believe that we can actually start to make some real progress. So, but it's great to see so many people sharing things. Thank you very much for coming along, and we'll speak soon. All right.